Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Southerners Northern Garden. So I'm going to be doing some gardening chores today that I'm a little bit behind on. First, I'm repotting these boxwoods. I got this nice terracotta pot. I have 3 of them last year, and I got them at a super discount from someone on Facebook Marketplace, and I think they may have been misfired. And they didn't survive even our mild winter this year. So I'm putting them into these CRESCENT GARDEN containers, which I really love. Now these particular ones are not, they don't have an insulated wall, but these are Green Mountain boxwood, which I think are good down to zone 3. I'm in a zone 6, so they should survive our winters pretty well. You can see the boxwoods putting on quite a new growth already. I got these boxwoods last year, last spring. Our spring last year, it warmed up much like it did this one, and then we had a freeze, so they had some damage in them from the grower that I got them from, but they look like they're coming along quite nicely. So I think I'm going to repot these up, and I might give them a prune. I want them to be nice cones one day, a set of 3. So as you can see, this pot is just like falling apart, and this is what terracotta does if something's wrong with it or if it just gets too cold in your zone. So I brought a hammer, and I'm going to start today's job by taking out some frustration, and this is going to be fun. Hang around. So what I failed to mention is these pots are roughly the same size, so I'm just going to break down this pot and then slide it into this one and stick any extra soil around it that's needed. This already has drain holes in it, and it'll be much lighter. These pots are actually so heavy that they are breaking the rollers and spacers I have on the ground. So I'm going to have to find something a little different, but this will certainly help because it's super light. CRESCENT Garden containers are awesome because they have a 10-year warranty on color and being outdoors, and if anything happens to them, they will replace them. They are a bit expensive, but with a warranty that long and they're just beautiful containers, I think it's worth it, because if you buy a container that's either terracotta that's this expensive or a porcelain container, those can split as well, and they're also very heavy to move. So CRESCENT Garden has a great variety of options you can buy. I'll be showing some more of their containers I purchased and I'm going to plant up this year. But for now, we're just doing these today because it's still a little early in our zone. So I did put drip in these containers, even though they're on my patio. One day I might have decided to hook them up to drip, and I didn't want to have to fish those through the container. So if you can see this line right here, it runs out the bottom of the container. So I might have to go get a drill bit to make sure that comes out of the bottom of this container if I ever decide to use it again. But you can also see how much root growth this had between last spring and this spring. So I got it, and it was in a container that was about this size. You can actually see the root ball here. And it put out all these beautiful roots in just a year. So that tells you how much a boxwood can grow if they like the medium they're growing in. So boxwoods do quite well in containers, especially Green Mountain. Green Mountain is one of the hardiest varieties. I wouldn't have chosen anything else because our winters get kind of rough here sometimes. So I wanted to pick a boxwood variety that would grow well in my zone and also do well in containers. So I'm going to try and slide this into this pot. So I filled some new soil in the bottom. This was planted with fresh Pro Mix last year. It has been in here a year. So I wanted to make sure that there was fresh nutrition for this boxwood. As well, I added some Biotone starter fertilizer to the bottom of the planting hole and added a little bit of new potting mix. I'm not sure, my camera cut off, but this was in the bottom of the terracotta pot. The terracotta pot had quite a large hole in the bottom, and I learned this trick from a supplier who sells containers. So if the container's too large at the bottom, instead of putting like broken crock or something at the bottom, you can put these. They block the dirt, but they're porous enough to allow water through. So they're a really good solution for that. And I just made a tiny hole in the center for the drip to go through. I didn't put it in these containers because the holes that already came in them from CRESCENT Gardens was quite small. And I added a couple more just so I could have sufficient drainage because I don't want these holding water. But now I'm going to add some fresh soil around the side to make sure it's sufficient. These boxwoods are not very high in the container. I do want them lower, so I'm putting them down to the height of the lip. There's a rolled lip on this. and I'm going to put fresh soil around the side. And then I'm going to go to Lowe's sometime in the future and buy some rock, some beautiful gray rock to put on top of it as a mulch to keep weeds down and suppress any digging in there. Like here's a weed from last year because I didn't add mulch. It's just a really good solution and a beautiful solution for your potted plants to add rock mulch. So stay tuned. All right, everyone, I'm done with this one. I've compacted the soil around it and I've added the fresh layer on top. And now I'm going to continue with the other two and I'll show you what they look like when I'm done. So first off, here they are all three together with our furniture. You'll note behind it we have this metal sheeting. This new patio was put in the winter of December 2019 and January 2020. And COVID hit right after that, so we didn't get to put up the backing. So we're hoping this year we will be able to put up a black rock backing around the edge of it. That'll really make these pots really pop. So you can see I have my drip line here. I did not prune these boxwoods. I'm thinking about waiting until fall and letting them put on quite a number of growth, because you can see I trimmed them last year and they're putting off all these beautiful new growth. And I kind of like a fuzzy or furry boxwood, shaggy I guess you could also call it. And I think I'm just gonna let them grow. I might prune these really tall leaders off. I'm not sure yet, but I think I'm gonna leave it for now. See, you can still see some of the dead from when I got them in the spring last year. So we've got to work on growing that out and letting that hide, and I think most of that will fall off. I'm going to go to Lowe's and get some nice gravel to put on the bottom of them, and then I think they will be very pretty. This one looks a little crooked. I'm going to do a better job of rotating them this year because the sun, this is western facing, and the sun is pretty harsh, and I want to make sure they grow well on all sides. They are much lighter and can be moved around a lot easier now that I have them in these plastic containers, but they're still quite gorgeous, I think. So as I mentioned, these Crescent Garden containers, I will put a link below to their website. I believe I actually got these from a separate website, but Crescent Garden has a great sale in the spring that's 20% off, and I purchased some more containers that I'll show you later this season that I got in their 20% off sale that are absolutely gorgeous. My David Austin roses are supposed to be on their way hopefully soon. Last year I received them yesterday, but I haven't got a notice of shipping yet, and I'm going to put one rose right here next to this pillar in a beautiful black container. So I'm really excited for that one to show up. So these are Green Mountain boxwoods. They're hardy to zone 3. I have Sprinter boxwoods over here in these containers. These are concrete and they're by Campagna. They're absolutely beautiful, but I've got to think, if you know of a better method of keeping these off the ground so they drain well, please let me know. These are so heavy that they're actually breaking these plastic wheels on these. So I've got to come up with a different method for that this year. And actually the terracotta was so heavy that it broke this one right here. So I think I have some extra wheels on some older ones, and I will break those out and fix this so they can be moved around fairly easily. The Crescent Garden containers have a 10-year warranty against cracking, fading, so they should be a great alternative if you're looking for something light, but this still looks excellent. I believe this color is called Cast Stone. This is not my first year with Crescent Garden containers. I actually used them last year with these right here. This is a smaller version in the color terracotta. And I actually have these boxwoods in here that are not looking too good. These are Proven Winter Sprinter boxwoods. You can see those Sprinter boxwoods look excellent, but I took these in this winter and put them in the basement under a grow light because I was concerned that being in plastic containers, they might not overwinter very well, and I should have just left them outside. So I brought them out a couple weeks ago, hoping they'll put on some new growth and recover, because they look pretty terrible, and I'm not sure if that was from a lack of water in our dry basement or what that might be from, but I'm hoping they recover well because they're very difficult to find in our area. No garden centers sell them. I've only been able to find them at a local big box store here and there. So thank you guys for joining me today. And I've been dreading this project a little bit because those terracotta containers are just a bit heavy. but I'm glad I got it done. It was a mess and I cleaned up all that mess, but stay tuned. I'll be pruning hydrangeas next, and I hope you follow along. Bye.